Mr. President, today I'm introducing an amendment to the Every Child Achieves Act that would allow $2,100 federal scholarships to follow 11 million low-income children to any public or private accredited school of their parents' choice. This is a real answer to inequality in America, giving more children more opportunity to attend a better school. The Scholarships for Kids Act will cost $24 billion a year, paid for by directing 41% of the dollars now directly spent on federal K-12 education programs. Often these dollars are diverted to wealthier schools. Scholarships for kids would benefit only children of families that fit the federal definition of poverty, which is about 1/5 of all school children, about 11 million a year. Allowing federal dollars to follow students has been a successful strategy in American education for over 70 years. Last year, $31 billion in federal Pell Grants and $100 billion in loans followed students to public and private colleges. Since the GI Bill began in 1944, these vouchers have helped create a marketplace of 6,000 autonomous higher education institutions, the best system of higher education in the world. Our elementary and secondary education system is not performing as if it were the best in the world. U.S. 15-year-olds rank 28th in science, 36th in math. I believe one reason for this is that while more than 93% of federal dollars spent for higher education follow students to colleges of their choice, federal dollars do not automatically follow kindergarten through the 12th grade students to schools of their choice. Instead, the money is sent directly to schools. Local government monopolies run most schools and tell most students which schools to attend. There's little choice and no K-12 marketplace as there is in higher education. Former Librarian of Congress Daniel Boorstin often wrote that American creativity has flourished during, quote, fertile verges, times when citizens became more self-aware and creative. In his book, Breakout, Newt Gingrich argues that society is on the edge of such an era and cites computer handbook writer Tim O'Reilly's suggestion for how the internet could transform government. The best way for government to operate, Mr. O'Reilly says, is to figure out what kinds of things are enablers of society and make investments in those things. The way that Apple figured out, if we turn the iPhone into a platform, outside developers will bring hundreds of thousands of applications to the table. Already 16 states have begun a variety of innovative programs supporting private school choice. Private organizations supplement those efforts. Allowing $2,100 federal scholarships to follow 11 million children would enable other school choice innovations in the same way developers rush to provide applications for the iPhone platform. Senator Tim Scott, the presiding officer today, has proposed the Choice Act, allowing 11 billion other federal dollars the federal government now spends through the Program for Children with Disabilities to follow those 6 million children to the schools their parents believe provide the best services. A student who is both low income and has a disability could benefit under both of the programs, especially when taken together with Senator Scott's proposal. Scholarships for Kids constitutes the most ambitious proposal ever to use existing federal dollars to enable states to expand school choice. Under Scholarship for Kids, states would still govern pupil assignment, deciding, for example, whether parents could choose private schools. Schools would have to be accredited. Federal civil rights rules would apply. The proposal doesn't affect the school lunch program, so that Congress could assess the effectiveness of this new tool for innovation. There's an independent evaluation after 5 years. In the late 1960s, Ted Sizer, then Harvard University's education dean, suggested a $5,000 scholarship in his Poor Children's Bill of Rights. That's what he called it. In 1992, when I was the United States Education Secretary, President George H.W. Bush proposed a GI Bill for Kids, a $500 million federal pilot program for states creating school choice opportunities. Yet despite its success in higher education, voucher remains a bad word among most of the K through 12 education establishment, and the idea hasn't spread rapidly. Equal opportunity in America should mean that everyone has the same starting line. There would be no better way to help children move up from the back of the line than by allowing states to use federal dollars to create 11 million new opportunities to choose a better school. I thank the President, and I yield the floor.